on guys, this is Striker Plays and welcome to a new video. This video is going to be a tutorial of how to use a group manager and trying to get groups and prefixes per world. This request is coming in from Mama Rin, I think it is called, and just asking for me to show you guys how to do prefixes, stuff like that per world. So this will be using group manager. I don't know if PEX does this or not, but I'll hop into config and show you. Alright, so here we are in the group manager config. If you don't know where that is, just go into your group managers folder and then just open your config right here. So boom, here we are. So you want to scroll down to the very end and it's going to look like this. So here we are at the very end, and as you see, it has world, the nether, and world, the end. And then down here, as you see, all in name world. So this is just how it loads by default. And if you're using Minecraft Hosting.pro, your server world is actually named map. So you're just going to change this. If you're using Minecraft Hosting.pro, going to change this to map. So you're going to rename this to map, and as well as this map the nether, or map nether. And then you're going to change this to map the end, because how Minecraft Hosting.pro has it is your regular world is called map. So if you're using like a regular host, it should just be the same. So world, and then world the nether, and world the end, because this is your default worlds that load automatically. So if you want all your groups to stay the same right here, then leave it. But as I said, if you're using this host, then change it to map, because that's what your world is called. So to add, for example, if you want to add here, let me go back. As you see right here, I multiverse. I'm going to envy list. So here's what I have. So I have a sky block and I have a plots. If you're running multiverse, I mean, most people that want to try to do per world use multiverse. So I'm just going to go mvtp plots, and it will take me to the plot world. And so here we are. So if you're running multiverse, you want to come to your plot world, and then I don't know if any groups are. So we have the regular default groups. So I have, if you do env list, so say your map nether, map the end, and just your regular maps, the default world. If you want that as factions, then you'll have specific permissions that you have in the faction world. But if you have a creative on the same server, then you want them to have like creative mode and to be able to do certain things in the plots and stuff, but you don't want to give the game mode to people in factions. So this is where it comes in very helpful and handy. So this is what we're going to do. So we can delete all this, and then what we're going to do, as you see right here, if you read this, if it's confusing to you, I'll explain it. So basically, how this is set up, map has its own groups, and then map the nether and map the end will have the inheritance of all the groups made from map. So what we want to do on this tutorial, we want the plot world people to be able to have different permissions, such as game mode and the plot world permissions. So as you see right here, I have the plot world. So it's plot. So what I'm going to come in here, and since my world is named plots, I'm just going to do plots, put that there, make sure it matches with map. So if we do this, I should match. There we go. We are all set up for map. And then what you're going to do is just space this over, and you want them to have specific users, and you also want them to have specific groups for the plot world only. And as you saw, I did have a skyblock world, so I'm going to just going to copy paste this real quick, and I want skyblock to have its own permissions and its own groups as well. Oops, messed that one up. There we go. So we copy paste right there, and we'll put skyblock in here, and we want skyblock to have its own users and groups as well. So we're going to save that, and there we go. And then we're going to come in here and man save, and then man load, and make sure to check to council, see, make sure it's all good with council. Here's council. Looks like we're all good, no errors or anything. So one thing I wanted to mention about this Since you're having groups per world, you have to add specific permissions for your world that you're going to use. So, for example, since we already did this, so we have our group that we want for the plot world, and then specific groups that we want for faction world. So I'm just going to make a group right now, and add, we'll call it add member, and then we're going to add permissions to member essentials dot build. Make sure you always add that, and then essentials dot game mode. All right, there we go. So when people in here, so I'm going to add v prefix, member prefix. I'm going to do gray, and then a member and 8. There we go. There we go. Perfect. And then so I'm going to add myself to group member now. So as you see, I moved to group member, and I did add permission node essentials.game mode, so I can do /gmc, and then make sure you add your plot world permissions to, remember, to your plot world I guess your plot world your plots, where the world that your plots are in. Alright, basically that's what I was trying to say. Got a little confusing right there, but that's what I'm trying to say, because since we're doing it per world permissions and per world groups, that's what you want to do. You have to come to this world and then add your permissions. So if we do /spawn, that will take us to the regular map. So if you're having like factions or whatever, this will take us to the regular like world, I guess. And I don't know what's happening. I guess bugging out. Oh, come back. There we go. Here we are. All right, so we are back. It's kind of laggy right now, actually. So we're here, and as you see, my group is gone because we are in a different world. Because that's how we're going to do it. So since if we do list groups, as you see, there's only default and owner, because since we did in the essentials config, as you saw, we had groups per world and groups per permission, stuff like that. So if you make sure you don't add, if you're in this world, don't add your like group member to have essentials.game mode, because you want to add that to the world that their plot is in. So also if we go to mvtp map nether, actually let me add myself to owner real quick. Does it have a no, it doesn't have a prefix. Let me add a prefix real quick. Ming add v owner prefix 5 for owner. Oops, not a $sign owner. There we go, and 5. Boom. All right, so man save. All right, so as you see, we have the owner prefix. So if we go to mvtp map nether, yes, mv. Oops. Oh no, I can't type. mv confirm. Wow, guys. Wow. Okay, there we go. We got it. So if we come here, we should have the owner group. Wait for it. Boom, there it is. So since we had in the group manager perms, let me open the config up real quick. Since we did add the group nether, the world nether, and map the end to our users from the regular map, then it's going to all transfer. But since we created a different world and another different world right here for plots and skyblock, it's going to have its own users and its own groups. That's about all that this tutorial is going to conclude with. If you have any questions, feel free to put it down in the comments below. But let me just like wrap this up real quick. All these right here, as long as it's subgroup to your regular map or map to end or whatever, it's going to have the same users and group. Once you create a second right here, the second world or whatever you have, then it's going to have its own users and its own groups. And since skyblock right here, it will have its own users and its own group. Make sure everything's lined up. I suggest just copy and paste it. If you're not using this host, everything should still be the same. I suggest just copy and pasting it and make sure it's all good, all lined up. Make sure you save it in here, and then make sure you do /man load in here, and then we're gonna go back to the plots again, and as you see, if we type hi, and then we are a member here. So that's how to do groups and permissions per world. I I tried to do it a little bit. I wasn't trying to do like a super in-depth because that would be a super long time and it might confuse you. If I already confused already, I'm sorry. Try to go back and watch it. Try to explain my best. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, put those down in the comments. I will answer them as best I know how. And I hope this helped. If it didn't really help, then I can try to do a better in-depth one, but this is just like the brief one. So hope you guys enjoyed, and as I said before, put any comments that you have, questions or whatever, down in the comment section. I will look at those, and I hope this helped. Leave a like if it did, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.